West Virginia to charge this thing.
7 kV.
The Navy thinks this is the future of naval warfare.
Enabling.
But could it launch enough sulfur into the sky to guarantee the future of the planet?
3, 2, 1, fire.
The sound of 11,000 volts of electricity is deafening. The projectile explodes out of the barrel at over 5,000 miles per hour. It's mind-bending, futuristic stuff. The railgun could easily deliver sulfur to the stratosphere, but the Navy won't be firing payloads much bigger than about 66 pounds. So we'd need to launch a lot of rounds into the sky to save the world. Almost 1 million sulfur missiles each and every day. Blasting sulfur into the sky doesn't look like it's going to be feasible. Time for another meeting with Justin McClellan.
Yeah, the guns really start to look not so good the more you look into it.
It turns out he's done the research and he's got the answer. My quest to save the planet has been all over the map. From looking at ways to pull greenhouse gas from the air, to cooling the planet by deflecting the sun's rays. And now Justin tells me he has the answer.
So I've got a pretty good idea at this point about what doesn't work. But what does work?
Well, the answer is actually right outside the window. It's airplanes.
After 8 months of gathering information and crunching numbers, Justin's final assessment makes sense.
There's an infrastructure for it. There's experience using it and operating them. So it's really the answer.
The challenge would be to engineer these birds to reach 100,000 feet.
A typical commercial airliner might fly at about 35,000 feet, and then by the end of the trip might be up at about 40. A business jet might do about 40 to 50,000 feet.
Think private business jet on steroids. The entire operation would run out of 3 existing airports located near the equator. Small, fast cargo jets, rigged to carry SO2, could deliver load after load.
All in all, this is not sounding like a huge operation.
Yeah, it's a pretty small operation, especially when you compare it to some of the bigger airlines. There's probably millions of tons in the air right now on airplanes around the world.
So there it is, a way to cool the planet right now. But if there's anything I've learned on this quest, it's that everything has a price. If we reach the point where we need this to save the Earth, we'd better be prepared to deal with some tough choices. Do we save the ice shelf in Greenland, only to cause droughts in Asia and Africa? Do we settle for a future of bleached out skies and sulfuric acid sunsets to save New York City or Mumbai from being flooded? By deploying sulfur, we could start to see a cooler Earth within weeks. It's tempting.
Even if we managed to get a system up and running that delivered SO2 and successfully lowered the temperature of the planet, you've still just sort of artificially lowered the temperature. If you ever stop doing that, it goes right back up.
Yeah, you've just put a Band-Aid on the problem.
No matter how controversial this approach is, some scientists think we'd better know how to use it, just in case. But for all these high-tech solutions and pie-in-the-sky emergency parachutes, there's no escaping that we need to stay grounded and get to the root of the problem.
Morning, sir. How you doing? I'm Sean Riley.
Sean, Dan Jackson.
Whether it's installing white rooftops to deflect heat away from cities and save energy,
This is technology that we know has a track record of working.
or shading our planet one window at a time,
There are so many things that anyone could do in any building.
carbon-neutral buildings like this are one way to keep it simple and get immediate results.
And did you know you're saving the world?
We're working on it.
While scientists think of far-out ways to engineer the planet, people like this are redesigning it from the ground up. It may seem small, but look at it this way. In the US, 18% of our energy goes to running commercial buildings. If we made them all carbon neutral, global CO2 emissions would drop by nearly 4%, and that's a good start. But in New York City, the clock is still ticking, and no one knows what number equals disaster. So in case we don't figure out how to turn global warming around in time, scientists like these are working on a radical plan B, thinking outside the box, solving engineering problems, and developing controversial new technologies that they think will give us a fighting chance to overhaul the Earth.